welcome to A Women's Brew, where women talk about beer. It's our 100th episode. I'm Joanne and this is Tori.
Hello.
And we're two beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us! Do the jazz hands. I was excited.
Well.
I mean, I do jazz hands all the time. Jazz hands are great.
I mean, jazz hands are great. But when you said 100, I was just like,
ta-da!
Like a bit of razzle dazzle. You got to razzle dazzle it.
We have got to 100 episodes, and you people are still listening to us witter on about beer.
Why? I just question why. Because we're
great.
I just want to actually call out. This is a brilliant time for me to call us out. Actually, what you should have done is you should have introduced me as the Minister of Fun.
Oh.
Because at work, I won the Minister of Fun award, and I'm pretty sure Rick fucking hates it because the last few days I've been walking around the house and he'll say something and I'm like, well, that's not very fun of you, and I should know because I'm the Minister of Fun. So yeah, he is loathing that at the moment, but I just want to put that out there as it's because we're so fun. That's why we win awards. The Ministry of Fun.
Ministry of Fun. I don't know what I win awards for.
It's a blanket title, isn't it? Minister of Fun. It translates. So yeah, thank you guys for listening for 100 episodes.
Yeah.
We're really excited because, as you can see, we're together in person. There's
traffic moving behind us. We really need a red bus to go by now.
Yeah. hopefully the audio has come out as good as it seemed like it was going to in our test. But we are in the busy city of London town. Yeah. There's literally Large Benjamin is right across the road. He is uncovered. He's in the nude. I can see him. It's hustle and bustling today because, Joe, what are we doing in London for our 100th episode celebration?
We are going on a craft beer cruise down the Thames. Woo woo. We're going to see how that goes. They put the beer list out. Did you see the beer list?
I didn't because I'm going in surprised.
There's some good stuff.
Also, you got the itinerary.
I got the itinerary. But no, so they put it up on the social media. So this is the London Craft Beer Cruise. They are on Instagram. Give them a little follow. They'll show you all the fun things that they do. It's a good day for it. I was slightly concerned because at the beginning of the week it was saying it was going to rain today.
It's going to be 27 though now.
It's going to be good. It's going to be bright skies.
Sun's out.
We're going to get some
buns out.
We're going to get some fun shots. Oh, we need to do some more clinks.
Oh, we do.
A clink video.
Well, you'll see. It'll happen.
We need to do some more clinks. And then, once we've done that finishes this afternoon. And then we're just going to go and enjoy some of London's tap room offerings.
Going to wander around. You might record some bits. You might see us in some places.
Might see some more bits. Maybe this is going to end up being a clip show.
We don't really know.
Share some bits from past episodes that we love. It's that time in the series, guys. It's clip show time.
We're kind of winging it here. We've got some questions people have asked.
You've asked
either
some
questions or topics people want us to talk about. So we'll probably do a bit of that. Probably show you around some of the tap rooms we go to. Maybe not. If there's not a good way to record without lots and lots of sound, we don't know.
It's warm, so there's going to be people about.
Might meet up with some people that you've seen before. Maybe not.
And some friends of the show / past guests. / awesome people might pop up to say hello. We'll see what happens.
/ should be co-host at this point. I don't know, we don't know.
People,
we'll see.
I feel like if we get to the end of this episode and a certain person hasn't voiced their opinion and hasn't said hello, then we'll be in trouble because they are our most.
Red,
there we go. Red.
It's going to drive by.
It's going to drive by. It's behind me. There it is. For those on the video, there is a red bus behind me.
We are properly in London, I promise. Ready? And
ta-da! Red bus. There are our most repeated guest might pop in.
So,
if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. If you don't, then you'll find out hopefully soon. Or maybe not. We don't know.
It's a
mystery. But yeah, let's see, what time is it? We've got to get ready to board the boat soon.
Going on a boat.
I'm on a boat. So hopefully we'll show you some clips from the boat if everything pans out as it should. And see you again in
see what we're doing. Right, so this is us on the cruise. She's on 7, I'm on 5.
So I thought we didn't meet.
So we can highly recommend this. We'll talk a little bit about more later when we're in a tap room and we can talk about it. But London Craft Beer Cruise, fun time.
I look sunburned.
She looks sunburned. And we are, hang on, I'm going to do you a flip and I'm going to show you the Houses of Parliament as we come past.
And Big Benjamin.
And Big
Benjamin.
There it is. Big Ben. Large Benjamin. President of Parliament. And really good beer. Cheers. Alright, so we've just finished our craft beer cruise.
Top
That
tip.
was fun.
Yeah, it was good. But top
It was
tip
really
when you're
good.
done, if you do the morning session, Mother Kelly's is less than a 15-minute walk away. So
That's where we are.
this is for all of us. This is
Yeah,
I say
we're
all of us. There's
sharing.
two of us.
We're sharing.
I don't know why I said all of us. Like there was like
all of us.
so many of us.
Us two.
There's two of us, but they're thirds. So really,
Yeah.
it's a pint in total. We're sharing a pint.
Yeah.
I just happened to hold 2 glasses.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, quick walk away. So shout out to that. That's good. And there's
Yeah, it was good.
quite a good.
There's a very good list at Mother Kelly's.
30.
So we've never been to Mother Kelly's before, so we thought we'd pop in on our way off to do other things today. Debrief on the London Craft Beer Cruise.
Get a cheese board.
Cheese board. For those that are not watching the video, it's a bag of cheese and onion
cheddar and
crisps.
chive.
Sorry.
Don't
Sorry.
do it dirty. It's chive. Okay? It's mature cheddar and chive. Thank you. Actually,
Fancy cheese
don't
and
do
onion
cheddar
crisps.
rolls dirty like that.
But I enjoyed the London Craft Beer Cruise.
I enjoyed it. I think it was really good. It was quite well organised.
Yeah,
the queue
definitely
went
well
well.
organised. Yeah.
There was I will say the staff was actually quite well split between like
Yeah.
in terms of representation between like men and women. Which this is not a commentary on it being bad if there's not enough women or anything like that. But it's just like what I found really interesting was like the staff was quite evenly split. To be fair.
Yeah.
But there's representation like across the board, which was really, really good, and it made it really inviting. And like when we were in the queue, the first person to check us in, I want to say her name was like Laura or Lauren, something like that. When she checked us in, she was like, "We've got siren," and the great, yeah. I mean, I've only mentioned it because of the topic.
Yeah.
And she was like, "If you didn't know, they've got a female brewer."
Yeah.
I was like, oh, amazing! Like that's really cool that they are also aware of those things. It felt like they were really knowledgeable with what they were picking.
Yeah, definitely.
It wasn't just like we've selected anything. It was pretty funny that I came to London. I didn't come a massive way, but
Yeah.
I came to London and then had like siren. There was a lot of options actually, to be fair, but it was funny that was 2 of the options on there as well. But they felt quite well informed in that sense. Like that showed me before we even got on the boat that they were fairly well informed.
Yeah, definitely.
But it was very peen heavy once we were actually like in
Yeah,
terms of
I
the
think-
clientele
yeah,
who was there.
I feel like
Not their
it's-
control.
No,
but it was just
because,
interesting.
like, a craft beer cruise is a good thing for a stack do, isn't it? For a lads' day. So, but there were women there drinking beer. We weren't the only ones.
But I will
so-
say, yeah, we weren't the only ones by
Yeah.
any means.
Yeah.
And what was really interesting was they also had like the ring station and everything
Yes,
else.
it was well
what I call
set
the
up.
bucket. They had that. That was really good. And people were actually using it.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like you knew it wasn't people that were just like it's a beer cruise.
Yeah.
Like you knew that it was people that actually genuinely
like drink beer and enjoy
enjoyed
different
beer
beers and
specifically.
things. Yeah, definitely. And I think there was a good selection. There was dark and sours and pales. There was some cider. There was some lager. I think there was something for everyone.
And they were
which is very
split
useful.
up quite
Yeah.
well in the sense of it was like sours or sour
Yeah.
and saison, and then it was like hazy and IPA slash pale, and then there was stouts together.
Yeah.
So you weren't kind of like, I feel like a stout. Where do I go? It wasn't a scattergun. It's very well
Yeah, it was well organised.
organised in that sense.
Top tip: if you want to get a beer quickly when you first get on, go to the sours first.
Sours, because like people like
no one
it
was
like
buying the
hazy,
sours,
hazy,
everyone was
hazy.
going
It
for
was
the
like,
hazy.
They were like the Oprah of like hazes. Like, and you get a hazy, and you get a hazy, and everyone.
And I
gets
was like,
hazy. It's not their
I
fault,
want a black
but
currant goes. Thank you very much.
It was also it's quite warm. It's quite
Yeah.
hot. So you kind of understand that to a degree of like a lot of people naturally in the heat will gravitate towards like a pale or like an IPA or
Yeah.
something. But it was just, I mean, we gravitate, I feel like, probably to sours when it's sunny
Yeah,
out.
I do, definitely.
And then we went to like dark brown and stouts. And
Yeah.
It was a really good mix of selection.
And we got cheese board.
Got a cheese board.
Yeah.
Top tip though, my only suggestion, more crackers.
More crackers. We wanted
Because
more
I'm very
crackers.
cracker heavy. I
Yeah.
like more of a cracker to cheese ratio.
Yeah.
But that being said, it was really good, interesting, tasty
and it was
stuff.
it was cheeses from Neil's Yard, and there was a brie that was bound in birchwood.
I don't even like brie, and I didn't try it because I'm not a brie person. But I looked at it and I was like, oh, that looks to be quite
It was fun,
interesting
and
actually.
it was really tasty. And there was blue cheese, which was really good. I had all of that because Tori doesn't like blue cheese. Yay, more blue cheese.
Not a fan. So yeah, what we're drinking now?
Yeah.
You've got
I've got the fruit salad sour from Yonder. Love
I've got
Yonder.
the blueberry cheesecake
Yeah.
from Yonder. And then we've got, I just basically, what I like to do when I go to a bar, so like,
Top tip.
if anyone here, I say top tip, but I guess it depends what you want. If you don't know what you want, or you can't decide, or there's like a lot of options.
I mean, there's
Very
30
tap list,
now.
very
Yeah.
tap list. If you don't know, I like to just go up and be like, what's your favourite? Depending on where I am, obviously. If it's just a place that's mostly like stuff that's not for me, I'm like, won't do that. But if I'm at a craft beer bar and there's a lot of option, I might just say to the person like, can you just give me your favourite one? If I don't know what I'm in the mood for and there's quite a variety, I'll just ask. So that's basically what I did with the sharing one.
This one here, if you're watching the video.
It was number 22, Pretty Decent Neighbourhood Watch, which name's pretty great, and it's an IPA. So I think it's pretty decent. It's quite tasty, very fruity, very like the fruitiness of it smells like a lot.
Yeah.
So really good. Barely touched this one because I'm sort of having half of this first and then moving on.
My fruit salad sour basically smells like fruit salad sweets. So
I don't think I've ever actually had a fruit
we never
salad
had
sweet.
fruit salad. Did we have this conversation about drumsticks as well?
We probably did.
Yeah, similar fruit salads and
At least
and
I didn't like my
drumsticks are in
eyes
the
weren't
same
like,
thing.
yeah.
She didn't do a
I was
yes
like,
nod. She was
I
like,
was just like,
don't know
I
that.
genuinely don't know.
It's good stuff.
This is a really chill spot as well in a railway arch because I feel like if we're going to do beer, like I feel like 90% of how craft beer establishments function are like you want to so you want to do a craft beer. Here's how you do it: find a railway arch.
Although I will say,
I love it. It's really cool.
I will say, as we were walking here from Lambeth Pier, every time we went past, is it there? No, we've still got to wait. Is that there? Because every time we walk past the railway
every
arch,
time we went by a railway arch, I was like, it's got to be in
it's
here.
got to be in there. No.
And then she's like, no. And then she's like, no. It looks like it's like not here.
Yeah.
It's around the corner. And lo and behold,
it wasn't. I mean, I didn't say it
a
wasn't.
railway
I
arch.
didn't say it wasn't in a railway arch. I just said it wasn't in the first railway arch you came across.
But it's really lovely because there is like a nice park out the back, and
it's really
there's
nice.
like outdoor seating front and back.
Nice
Really
and
good.
chilled.
Yeah, cool railway arch
Yeah.
set up. So really.
Our first Mother Kelly's experience.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up.
2
4 thumbs up.
The 4 thumbs up.
4 thumbs up.
And I would say craft beer cruise also 4 thumbs up.
Yeah, so good.
If you like boats, I'm a boat people, so really like it.
Lots of lovely views.
What I
along
really
the
liked, yeah,
Thames.
there was lots of views. If you're a person that like is maybe taking somebody that likes craft beer that's visiting that doesn't necessarily live near or in the country at all, if it's someone that maybe lives further up north, doesn't really go to London, hasn't really gone to London, so it's maybe like a sightseeing thing. I feel like you could kind of do like a whistle stop sightseeing tour as well, because it's like you go by Tower of London, London Bridge, the Shard, like all the things.
The Globe was
the Globe.
We were most excited about.
As an English nerd, I was like, Joe, it's the Globe. It's the Globe. I did specifically go, Joe, it's the Globe. It's the Globe. Which I have been to the Globe.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I've not been to the Globe, but I got a nice
exciting.
picture in front of the London Eye from an angle.
Yeah.
I've been up to London Eye quite a lot of times with people coming to visit, but I've never been
know,
like down
I've-
below looking up at the London Eye.
I've never been on it. Never been on it.
I would say like I have to take you, but I've been on it.
Nah, it's
literally
alright. I'm
so
good.
many times. I would do it. If you were like, I want to do it,
Nah.
I would do it.
I feel like that takes away from time of going to some good tap rooms.
It's true. That is true. I think it's like if you happen to be in the city and you were kind of like during the day and you're like, it's not really the time that I go to tap rooms. Like maybe great, but I'll take you. I'll take you someday pre tap rooms.
Okay.
But I have been up the London.
I mean, if we
like,
have
literally,
to.
I'm not even joking when I say I've gone up it 4 or 5 times.
Especially
maybe.
starts going on about Stonehenge again.
Stonehenge. You know how I feel about Stone. I'm sorry, Joe.
If
I
you know, you
understand.
know.
I respect you.
I like
Stonehenge.
Stonehenge. It's fine, I'll go for you. I'll go
God,
for
drive
both of them.
30 minutes to Stonehenge now? Like, what is that? You have to literally take you can either walk 30 minutes or take like a 10-15 minute ride to the top of it, and then they're like, well, don't go near the stones. It's all about the stones. It is all about, and
Yeah, but you can't
I've gone
touch
too
them
many
because you're
times.
going to erode them.
No, you know what it is? It's because someone drew a dick on it.
That is what it is. That's exactly what
Really,
it
it's because, like, don't lie to yourself. It's because one person at one time drew a dick on it. Don't blame them.
Just
I understand. I
Sacrilege.
get it.
But
But
sacred sites, for God's sake.
I'm just saying, it's one of those things that you graffiti, and what do you graffiti? A dick, obviously. So maybe they were just wishing it good fertility. I don't know.
Maybe.
But now no one can go near it.
No. Spoil it for everyone.
Spoiled it for everyone. Yeah. But also I've gone there so many times. But respectful.
It is what it is.
It's a respectful bunch of stones. But I think, I've never, like, I wouldn't normally watch this direction.
No, I don't think I would say that. Unless I planned it.
Pretty cool. Because I know there's another Mother Kelly's, isn't there? Somewhere else.
Yeah, there is.
Which is maybe more, something maybe more closer to where I go. This one's very chill vibes. There's like
Mother Kelly's Vauxhall. Yeah, it's nice.
And it's quite cool because you've got like some tables in the front and then the main bit, and there's like outside both sides, so you can get a fair amount of privacy, I think.
Yeah, and it's a lot of space. It's like nice to spread
You get
out.
both sides of the railway arch. It's not like some railway arches where
The front bit.
you've just got the front and then maybe the back's beer garden. So you can enter from both sides. So yeah.
Right, so we're gonna strategise where we're gonna go next.
This again, I want to emphasise these are not all my beers.
She's got 2 beers.
For all 2 of us.
We're gonna strategise where we go next. We'll be back with you in another tap room.
And yeah, things fall down. So
Cheers.
See you later.
Right, you may have noticed we are back in the studio.
We promised the studio, our houses. We promised you that we were like, we'll check back in. I think like we literally were like, we'll check back in at the next place. And then we subsequently did not do that.
No, we didn't do that. We were having too much fun, and some of the places were too noisy.
I think for me, it was a combination of like, there was noise, there wasn't really a great place to pull over and start recording, but really what happened was I think we then met up with people and it ended up being a lot more social, so we couldn't really be like, excuse us, stop, we're gonna record now, and we got carried away in conversations, and so it just didn't happen.
That just means we were at the best tap rooms then, so we can highly recommend the ones that we went to, and we'll tell you about them after the craft beer cruise and after
beer passport.
After Mother Kelly's, we took a little jaunt using the craft beer passport, and we headed to Werewolf in Camden because Tori hadn't been there yet.
Hadn't been. I love Camden. I wanted to go. I love Rich. I wanted to see Rich and Polly. I wasn't sure if they'd be there, and we were like, you know what, let's do it. But I got my stamp, people.
She got a stamp. We got what was it? Buy one get one free.
Yeah, I think so. But hilariously,
we spent so much. We had loads of beers in there. So.
We tried. So they had four beers on tap, and we tried like at least a half of all of them.
Yeah, we definitely did. We had so there was their Moonstomp, which is the rice lager. That was beautiful.
So beautiful.
Love that. Yokai, which was a blackberry and mint sour. Oh, so good.
Amazing as well. And it was an amazing name. I love the name.
I can't remember what the rye IPA was called, but also beautiful.
I definitely drank it. We drank all of it.
All of them.
And then on top of that, Stray Cat. So Stray Cat, their citrus session ale.
Ah, yeah.
And then there was Horror Show, which was their rye IPA.
Yeah, they're all excellent. Like, I so far have not had a bad beer from Werewolf. Like, all of their beers, I'm just like, this is so tasty. So definitely.
I'm laughing because as I was scrolling through, I then have a photo. Well, I've got a photo of Jethro's Full Circle socks.
Yeah. So we met her with the lovely Emmie Harrison West and her partner Jethro. Jethro
were lovely.
Full Circle socks.
Literally, they were like, she was like, Jethro was Full Circle socks for you. And then he was like, boom. And I've got a photo of it.
Yeah.
I love the both of them.
Yeah.
So much.
We had the best time. It was such a good day.
We met Jethro for the first time at Arundel and Friends. And I think like Rick really liked him. And he's just like, they are so easy to just get on with and have a good time and have a good conversation with. So much fun. I literally love them. They are
the good sharers of crisps.
Yes, they are definitely good. Like I've got Joe some crisps. She's like, get some crisps. And he's like, well, I've got crisps to share.
Crisps.
I was like, I'll get more crisps anyways.
Yeah, we'll get more crisps. And we did, like, if you've not been to Werewolf, you need to go do it, because before, Rich was telling me, like, so he was doing like his tax return and everything and looking at stuff, and he bought some old like haunted house ghost train.
It was the ghost train. If you listen to our episode with Werewolf, he literally talks about that.
Tells about it. He bought like ghost train carts, I suppose,
and props
and props and all of this, and they're all around the railway arch.
Put some photos here and there,
perfect.
And everywhere.
It's so perfect. And like just the best thing. And it turned out that he bought them a whole year before he even got brewing equipment. So
I remember him telling us he bought the stuff and he didn't even know where he was going to put it. And he was just like, well, I've got this now for when I've got, like, he didn't have the space down yet. And he was like, well, I've got the stuff.
Yeah. And it's brilliant. And it's really great for taking photos in. We took lots of photos.
Some of them look super dodgy and you can make really hilarious photos. Like one looks like they're having a pee and it's like it looks like you've just caught him having a pee. It's really, the other one looks like it's doing a shady drug deal. Although
when we took photos of Tori, it just looked like she was holding his hand.
Yeah, it did just look like I was holding his hand because I think it's just I didn't have the sketchiness in my face.
She's
I was
not
just
sketchy
like,
enough.
Not sketchy enough.
There's an excellent jukebox playing away. Like it's a really good little area to go, and the beer is just chef's
so good,
so
and the
good.
price point is amazing. And I don't have it with me because I put it away, but I bought my werewolf hat and I loved it. I was like,
you bought a werewolf hat. We both got badges. We got badges. We've both got t-shirts now. We are big old fans of werewolves. So
yeah, I got my t-shirt in the crowdfunding, so now I've got a hat, a badge, and a t-shirt.
5 stars. Highly recommend.
Yeah, definitely. and it turned out we got there. Yeah, and Rich was there. Yeah, we were like, yay. And then we were sat down minding our own business because Rich was talking to some other people. We're like, we'll speak to you in a minute.
Yeah.
I think we were actually probably preparing to be like, what should, we were waiting for Emmie and Jeffro. And we're like, we've got some minutes. Like, should we record? Like, what should we do? And then all of a sudden, walks up Polly.
Polly turned up. Now, you may remember Polly. We talked to her when she worked at Solvay Society, but she now works at Werewolf. And her friend was over from Canada, so we were talking to them, and it was such a good time.
It was really good. We stayed there longer than we were. Literally, like, we are on a strict, like, we'll get one drink and move on rules.
I mean, Tori was on a strict, and then we turned up at the bar and we were like, we need to have one each of these.
Yeah, and then we were we were like, because the game plan that we had discussed,
Tori's
like,
game plan.
The game plan was like, we want to have like. We want to be able to like have something and then go somewhere else and not
experience
be a point that we
all the things,
have any more drinks. So it's like, let's just go like halves or thirds or like whatever. And then we got to Werewolf and I was like, oh, they've only got 4 on, so really a half of each is only really 2 pints, so it's not really that big of a deal. And we were there for quite a while, so it was good. And I ended up getting they had a Mash Gang Pilsner, alcohol-free Pilsner, so I grabbed one of those because I've been trying a lot of alcohol-free stuff, and Mash Gang's usually quite good. The only thing I was gutted about, and I did tell Rich, was like, you don't have the pumpkin beer on anymore.
I know.
Hopefully he'll be making more of that.
I think that's going to come back at Halloween because, I mean, it needs to. I told him that it tasted like my favourite pumpkin beer ever, so I feel like that's
by the time,
a reason
that one might be, that's my favourite, I think, like UK pumpkin beer. And then by the time this episode comes out, it might already be past. I can't remember, but they're having a release for their blood orange.
Yes,
the shandy, the blood orange shandy.
Radler, blood orange and basil. I think it is Radler. I can't go, but it sounds like it's an amazing event because Kimberly Craft Beer Pinup is going to be there, and she's going to talk about. Melissa Cole is going to be there. They're going to have a little chat about the industry and such like. It's going to be great. The beer raises money for a good cause as well. So if you can get down to that, check out Werewolf's social media because that is on there if we haven't gone past it. And I think, Tori, you're going to try and get there.
I am going to try to get there. It's the 6th, Saturday the 6th, which I think our episode's coming out right.
Yeah. This will be after it. So yeah.
But yeah, well,
try and get the Radler anyway because that'll be out. So you can get it, and that's
just
delicious.
what it's being. Really, they're having just a big launch.
They're having a big launch, and
I am gonna try to get there if I can because it's Saturday in the afternoon. So
if you get there, can you try and get me a can if it's can?
Because I obviously wasn't going to. Yeah,
I mean, just in case you forget.
Have I ever forgotten to get you a beer anywhere I've gone?
No. Even the Greek beers have turned up.
Even the Greek beers, which actually, hang on, before we move on to the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So we were in London. Really, what this started off as when we originally planned to do this was, Joe, you got tickets to go on the craft beer cruise.
Yeah, my lovely husband bought me for my birthday tickets to go to the London craft beer cruise. And we were like, well, we're going to go do that. That sounds fun. That'll be, good to see how that goes. It was very fun. We enjoyed it. You've heard our rundown of it already. And then we were like, well, we're in London. So what are we going to do?
So it started off as a craft beer cruise. And then we were like, we can go out for some drinks. Because if we're going to go all the way into London, let's
make the most of it.
We can go do some of our beer passport, like happy days. Great. And this was all before things started happening. And then it turned out to be, well, actually, we're going to have a 100th episode. This is great. We'll celebrate our 100th episode. But in that other time, more things have happened. Joe, do you want to say what you were celebrating outside of our 100th episode? For anyone that doesn't know, by the time this episode comes out.
I've kept it quite quiet.
By the time this episode comes out, people are going to know.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, they will do by then. No, because I don't start until after we put this episode out.
Do they not?
No.
Okay, we don't have to say specifics. Keep it vague.
So I might have a job in actual beer. Ooh, what? I might have a job in actual beer. Which, I do. I'm starting a new job.
You're like, I might do. Beer. You signed a contract. It's happening.
I signed a contract. It's happening. I've got things booked in already.
You don't want to say who it is. That's
I won't say
fine.
who I'm working
You'll
for.
figure it out eventually.
But I'm going to be working in beer for a company that's in beer. It's very exciting.
Also, is there anything else that's happened positive that you want to maybe celebrate?
Yeah, I mean, maybe by the time this goes out, it might be official. But I've had results back from half of my certified Cicerone exam, and I have passed my written exam with like 93%. That's a bit good.
Yeah, it's a bit good. If we're downplaying it, yeah.
I mean, even if I don't pass my tasting part now, which I think I might have done, I feel okay about it. We won't count our chickens or anything. I feel okay about it, but I think that's a fair achievement.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anything you can think of that I'm not thinking of?
I think that's all of my things. Lots of beery things this year.
My things were not so much beery things. I'm celebrating the fact that I got my suitcase back.
Yay! I mean, that is a beery thing. No, that is a beery thing.
It's sort of
it had beer in it, and it had your
and all my t-shirts,
yeah.
which I started replacing, and I was like, Devo, because like I said, I tried to go and rebuy the Elusive shirt, and I bought one, but it was a size that was a few sizes too big. But I was like, I'll take it and I'll tie it up, and maybe Joe can help me make it into something different. Like I was like, Joe can help me. I don't have sewing abilities. I'm not handy like that. I was like, Joe can help me make this like even better at some point. I mean, I did ask you and you're like, I'll help you. And
yeah,
like,
no, we can totally do that. I've got 2 books on t-shirt making.
So I was literally like, right, I'm going to take it because I want the shirt, and they might not be making this V-neck anymore, but it's not going to fit me like a V-neck. But whatever, I'm just gonna have it. And then my bag turned up
like 2 months later.
I was on the middle of a work call having a conversation. I was in the middle of doing an internal conversation about something, and I literally, my front door is in eyesight, and this is the desk that I work at, which is why it's a bit of a chaos around me all the time. My beer stuff is there, but you don't really see it anymore like you used to because of how I work now. And I stopped and I looked and I went, I'm really sorry, guys. My suitcase has just turned up, and literally like all the people on the call were like, yes! And I was like, so anyways,
she messaged me and was just like, guess what's turned up? And I'm like,
she was like, I don't know, beer?
I was like, I don't know, beer. And I was like, oh, your suitcase.
And I was like, yes to both. I was expecting that at least the beer that I packed would have probably been like either confiscated or broken or like something. Nope, all there, all in really, really like all good. I mean, whether I don't know how it was stored.
I mean, it might have been cooked.
So I'm not. I don't know how it will taste. We'll explore this together.
This might be a fun like off flavor training.
Yeah, we'll do an episode because we've got the same beers, so we'll record it and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
I'm literally looking at them right now. I'm sorry, babies, because I didn't mean to keep you like that. So I don't know how they'll actually come out, but I immediately was like, we have to detox them. Go, go, go. Like, put them in the fridge immediately. Like, yeah, it was not great. So that was really probably the main point of celebration for me.
That's good. That's a good thing to celebrate.
I feel like there were other things, but I think like that totally like overshadowed just everything. I was like, it's back, and I don't have to replace all the things, which is really great. So,
and this, dear listeners, tells you that you should be celebrating all the things in life,
but also
things, the medium things, the wins. No matter how small, it's still a win.
Yeah, but the lesson is
you celebrate it.
Also, don't take all your favorite t-shirts on holiday with you.
And
don't try to be cute.
Bag.
Don't try to be cute. Take the ones that are your most favorite, put them on your carry-on. Don't put them all in your suitcase.
Don't put the good stuff in the suitcase.
Don't fly EasyJet. Don't pay for an overweight bag. And don't pack beers with you that you're not sure you don't want to see again. That covers it.
Yeah, these are life tips for you.
This is my I can give you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I can give you so many more tips about what not to do with your suitcase. But yeah, so I think those were the wins that we were celebrating. It was like 100th episode, which was really great. And then in the process of us planning this day, it was like, oh, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then I was like, my suitcase is back. So it was I feel like overall, just proper celebration.
It was sunny. We met amazing people. We drank some really good beer. It was a good day. It was a good day.
So we went to Werewolf.
And
then that's like you said, that's where we met up with Emmie and Jethro. And then we went back to Blackhorse because they live around that area. So I'll let you sort of so explain the rest from there.
It's quite a nice kind of build up of breweries around the Blackhorse area now. Around,
I can tell you specifically.
Yeah, I think
in the Beer Passport alone.
I think Wildcard was the first one that was out that way.
So you've got in the Beer Passport alone, you've got the Barista Brewing Co, Exhale Brewing, and Signature Brew Co. But that's also there was a few others there, including I think Hackney Brewery was there, Wildcard Brewers there. They're a bit further out walking than the rest of them from the station. But also when I looked, in addition to that, it's quite close, like it's like one stop away or something from Tottenham Hale, which has 1 Mile End, which is again a little bit further out, but it's there. You've got Aura Brewing, and then Pressure Drop was around there, and there was just like a few more scattered in that area,
and there's a few more. Pillars is the other way as well, isn't it?
And then you have Walthamstow Central, which has the Signature Brew Co, the Collab, and Pillars, and then there was a few other like crafty places. Like there was some place called I think beer and burger or something that had like really like quality looking burgers and actually a pretty extensive craft beer range, including some stuff from Europe. So it looked really good. We didn't
get that far.
We didn't get food.
But it is styling itself as the Blackhorse Beer Mile. So if you've done Bermondsey a few times, you fancy something different, the Blackhorse Beer Mile is your new destination, I think. We managed to make it to Signature, and we had a beer in Exhale, but then we had to go because I needed to get a train.
But Emmie really kindly ran, because she knew we weren't going to get to Beer Bullfish, ran over to Beer Bullfish and came back and got us a ginger beer ball.
Grabbed us a beer each. So we got beer, but
she was like, I've got you this. Like she ran off, and then we were like, where's Emmie gone? He's like, she's gone to Beer Bullfish. And then she came back and she's like, I've got you guys beers, because she knew that we really wanted to get there and we just couldn't get there.
But it's fine, because it just means we've got to go back and experience it again.
It's true.
So basically what we're saying is, if you want to experience some beer adventures, we can recommend the London Craft Beer Cruise. We can recommend the Beer Passport and pretty much anything in there. We can recommend visiting Werewolf. We can recommend the Blackhorse Beer Mile. Go and check out those breweries around there. So
I think the thing is as well is like the craft beer cruise, the thing that really surprised me was I went in like not really having that much research of it, knowing that much about it. I said this, I think, I don't know if I said it in the recording or not, but I went in expecting it to be like craft beer, but then like being like, oh, it's Camden Hells or like something like that, like that level of like, oh, craft beers, and like maybe one or two like, I don't know, like Tiny Rebel or something like that, like something that was a lot, or like Brewdog, something that was a lot more large scale. And then when we showed up and it was like, the person that checked us in was like, oh yeah, we've got Siren on board, like leave it to me to, I think I said on the record, leave it to me to go all the way to London for a craft beer cruise, and there's friggin' Siren core range on there. But they were like, oh, you know, they've got a female brewer, and they've got, and I was like, yeah. And I found that actually it meant that they actually knew what they were bringing on board. Like they had actually researched and been trained about what they were bringing on board. They're like Anspach and Hobday and Wildcard and Siren and Thornbridge, and
I think Sarah, who I spoke to on there, is a beer sommelier, so they know what they're talking. So when they say craft beer cruise, they mean proper craft beer. You know, not when you walk past a pub and it's brewed on Camden. Like it,
they say, oh, it's craft beer, but it's really
proper, and like they know what they're doing, and they are like, they have food on board. There's like cheese boards, charcuterie, sausage rolls, and like you can talk to them and they can like suggest beers that are available to go with the food that you're buying. Like it's the full experience, and it was pretty chilled. Like I wondered if it'd be a bit more rowdy.
I mean, they did have like a stag do on it, but I wouldn't say that the stag do wasn't a rowdy stag do. And I'm wondering if they don't really let people dress up, because they had like a few people had maybe a t-shirt or something, like one guy had a Peppa Pig shirt on it. It's Daddy Pig, and it said Daddy on it, and that I laughed. I was like, of course you, like, you're obviously a stag do, like, for fuck's sake. How do they make a grown men's shirt that's got Daddy Pig?
Is that not just like a family?
Daddy on it?
Can't you get a family set? You could probably get a family set of Peppa Pig beers.
I didn't think about that, because I didn't think that.
T-shirt.
I didn't think about the fact that someone would want a family set.
Yeah, people do that sort of thing.
So fine, okay, yeah, I can see your point now.
So he was probably wearing it ironically, but it may well be.
He was obviously wearing it ironically.
And the kids have got one.
Yes, he was obviously wearing it ironically, but it was still like, that caught me off guard. And you might have like a name, like there were name tags, and so some people had silly names written on it. But I think the most in terms of like dressed up they got was like a captain's hat or something. So it wasn't like a stereotypical stag do where it's like loud and rowdy. And I imagine they were probably told, yes, like a stag do can come aboard, however there's rules to follow, sort of thing, because some places do that. So I didn't think it was really out of control or rowdy, or
no, it's fun.
Everyone kind of kept to themselves. There were name tags on, but mostly everyone just kept to themselves in their own group. So but I was really impressed. I was really impressed because I did go into it not in a negative way, but expecting it to not be as craft as it turned out to be. And so, because I think I've just been ruined by the fact you go by places that are labeled craft beer and they're not, that it was really nice to actually get on there and be like, oh cool, it's really craft beer.
It was good. And then, you know, just there are so many different beer adventures you can have in London. Like a good time was had.
I think we'll cover the craft beer passport separately.
We'll do that as let us know if you want us to do that as a whole separate episode, because we are quite happy to go back into London.
I mean, I'll go back into London and do it
some
again,
more research
100% for sure. Not a problem there, but I think it's worthwhile like having another episode fully dedicated to that, because actually I think this is such a good investment, in the sense of there's some places like I don't think we would have gone out to the Blackhorse Beer Mile, if that's what you want to call it, or to the Blackhorse station, if we didn't have this kind of going, oh yeah, there's Exhale out there, and so I don't think I would have ever thought to go out there.
Oh, I would, because I knew that Wildcard was out there. And are you not following the Blackhorse Beer Mile on Instagram?
No, I don't think I am.
It's got its whole Instagram. It's got a whole Instagram. I'm going to put that in the show notes, because people, you need to be following this Instagram so you know what you can go find.
Okay, so take that out of the equation, right? Like take out the Blackhorse. So say if you're saying, okay, fine, Blackhorse Beer Mile, we know about that, but there's
definitely the passport opens you up to different. Yeah, it definitely opens you up to different breweries that you wouldn't have thought of.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting in that regard. And I think it's like, if you're out celebrating or you're in London, you're like, I'm going to be in London for something else. Is there a stop that's nearby on where I am? But I think that's definitely earned its own episode altogether about how we've got on with that. So
so as part of this celebration, we also asked you what questions you wanted to ask us. And dear listeners, you've given us some interesting ones.
Yeah,
That
we've
is
picked
for
out
sure.
we picked out some of the ones that were either the most asked or the first ones to be asked, and lost track after a while. But so we thought we'd just take some time to answer your questions, I guess. I mean, obviously we're always open to questions, but
Yeah.
here's the ones that we thought we would just put out for this episode.
Yeah.
Do you want to just like alternate asking the questions? I can ask
Yeah.
first, and then you can answer, and then I'll answer, and then you ask the next one, and do a bit of a round robin.
That sounds good.
Cool. So the first one that we were asked, I'm not going to say like who asked, 'cause some of them were duplicate questions.
Yeah.
So, what are your ambitions in the beer world? I'll let you answer first.
I mean, I think we've made it quite clear that we want to make a bit of change. You know, we are making a brave noise. Oh, we're still talking about it. Still talking about brave noise.
Brave noise.
Not gonna stop. Not gonna stop.
Tangent. Before you finish your thought, I went into, so I have an office just about brave noise because now we're giving it a voice on here. I went into, I've got an office in Bristol, so I have my normal office where I work and then the one in Bristol, and every so often we might have an event down in Bristol or I have to go there for work. And I stayed over because there was a women's event that we were happening, so I stayed overnight, and the next morning I woke up and I thought, I'm not really going to do the hotel breakfast because I just can't be doing that. I'm not a big breakfast person. I just want a decent coffee. If I see a place along the way, I'll stop. And as I'm walking to my office, I saw this coffee shop, so I was walking by on my way to my office and I spotted something that I could see in the distance was like coffee. And I was like, okay, well, that's at least a shop and it's not one of the chain places. Like, let me just walk closer and see. And it's called the Baristas Coffee Collective. It's literally just down the road from my office. I popped in there. First of all, the staff were super nice and super chatty. And secondly, let me get the box for you. I ordered my iced coffee. And as I was waiting for it to be prepared, I looked over and what do I see but boxes of girls who grind. Which obviously we've talked about them before. Yeah. We've seen them used in collaboration beers, like all that. Love them. And this was the Oh My Goth, which was the velvety chocolate, toasted almonds, and deep caramel notes. Love the box, love the name. And actually, a lot of the coffees usually are like chocolate and fruit. And I was like, this one doesn't even have the fruit in it. This is just straight like sweet goodness. It smells amazing. I've had it. It tastes amazing.
Ooh.
We've done like cold brew style on some of them, which is like it's not even cold brew. We've made it like Japanese style, and it's so good. So I basically, how this relates to Brave Noise is I started talking about this.
Yeah.
And I was like, love their stuff, and they were like, yeah, they're so good. And I said, yes, they get used in. They noticed I had a Heist t-shirt on, and they were like, what does your Heist brew t-shirt mean? And I went, oh, it's a brewery in Sheffield. And I said, funnily enough, we used Girls Who Grind in our International Women's Day. And then they were like, what's that? So then I started explaining to them what International Women's Day was. And I think they might know someone that works at Wild Beer Co, because they were like, okay, I'm going to see if Wild Beer Co does that. I know so-and-so. And then it turned into me finding a way to work out Brave Noise in there. Or I was like, you should ask them if they do an International Women's Collaboration Brew Day. And I explained all about it. And then I was like, and while you're at it, I mean, if you're really into inclusivity and equality, you should ask them to like brew a Brave Noise. And if you know a brewery and you want them to showcase how great they are and stuff, get them to do a Brave Noise beer. To which I started explaining what Brave Noise, because they did ask me. I didn't just go on a diatribe about it. They were like, oh, what's that? And then I explained, like, that's amazing. So I left having talked about International Women's Collaboration Brew Day and Brave Noise beer.
Oh my God, I would buy the F out of a Wild Beer Co Brave Noise beer.
I would as well, for sure. And I would definitely, like, if they opened up something for International Women's Collaboration Brew Day, like, I would go there for that, because that's not, I mean, Bristol's not that far from me. But it's just the way that I went in for a coffee. They were so chatty and they were asking me questions about like my t-shirt, and they were like, that's really cool that you like Girls Who Grind. And we were just having a good conversation, and it just led to me being able to talk about International Women's Collaboration Brew Day and Brave Noise.
Amazing.
I was like,
That's
I'm going to
so
work
good.
them both
Put it in
into
there.
this
Get it in
conversation
there.
as much as I can.
But,
But anyways, back to
but
your
yeah, so that's,
ambitions.
I think those are our ambitions. I mean, I'm talking for you as well at the same time.
Well,
here,
what's
but
your specific ambition? It's like separate, I guess, just as an individual versus as a podcast.
I mean, I just want to make beer accessible to everyone because it should be. And I think we should all drink the beers that we love. We should be allowed to drink the beers that we love without prejudice or without people telling us, well, you should like this beer. Like, or don't tell me that beer should taste like beer. Like, beer can taste like whatever I want it to be. We should all be able to do that. And I am fully here to support anyone that wants to learn about tasting beer, who wants to just drink beers, whoever you are, I'm here to support you do that. But particularly those that are marginalized.
Yeah. I think for me, separate to that, like, yes, I echo all that as well. And I think for me on like a more personal level in terms of obviously we just said how you are going to be working in the beer industry.
I know I can't talk about that because I've already done it.
in an ideal world, like, I would love to work in the beer industry, but I really love my company. Like, the company I work at are really good, and they really love like individuals and our individual personalities and hobbies and interests, and they really advocate us doing lots of things in our hobbies and interests, and not just being focused on the business. And my company is amazing, the people I work with are amazing, and I love being a project manager, and that's really hard to translate into the beer world. So as much as I would love, in an ideal world, I would love to do like marketing and events and stuff when it comes to beer, but I love my job so much that I really wish that it's just something I could do on the side. Like, if that was a side hustle and just evenings and weekends, like, I would love doing that. Obviously that's not sustainable for anybody, the brewery nor myself, because they don't just need someone part-time, they need someone full-time. If you need someone part-time, like, I've got you. Or like for specific small events, like, I got you, I will donate time. But I think in that sense, I just want to keep being a part of the community and volunteering at festivals and just still being in that scene without having to give up the job that I love and the company that I love working for.
Yeah.
If I can do more things on the side, I would absolutely love that in terms of the beer world. I love pouring. Genuinely, there's something oddly satisfying about pouring beer.
She's a very good bar manager as well.
I just really would.
She can manage a beer bar.
I'm like, you there. What's something wrong with that? Let me fix
it. She can do it. She can do it.
Take a payment while pouring a beer. Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you to say. But I mean, I love doing that, and it's oddly satisfying just pouring a beer. So for me, it's like, if I can keep being in the community, surrounded by beer people, without having to give up the career that I already love, that for me is like, and also like we said, it's spreading the word of Brave Noise, International Women's Collaboration Brew Day, and equality and inclusivity. Doing this podcast with you, that's my ambition, really.
Yay. Right, so question number 2, how do you balance work and beer stuff / podcast stuff? I get asked this a lot.
Very delicately. We have a shared calendar that we use in Google to keep track of the days that we're around. This is a bit look behind the scenes, but we have a shared calendar in Google. We let each other know when we're busy and with other things that aren't beer related. We put in our recording dates in there. I think for me it's really hard because for both of us it's hard because we have our own things. For me, I do D&D on a set night of the week.
I've got brownies.
We have to give time to our spouses.
We have to include the husbands in there at some point.
And I've got the dog I've got to do. I've got to make sure she gets that attention as well.
There's definitely been a few late nights on things.
Holiday, needing to have holidays and stuff as well. I mean, there's been times that I'm like, I'm going away, but I'm only going to a house if I need to record. I recorded in Whitby once, I think, because we had to go.
You had terrible glassware.
Father-in-law out. I think I had like a carling.
I think you did. You had a carling glass.
and I specifically, I had other glasses to choose from, but I was like, I'm using this one because it's funny.
We're down for it.
Because I'm also like a kind of a troll, I think, sometimes. I think it's a bit funny. But But I would say really careful planning and just trying to find the balance where like we do try to batch record a few in a row if we can, if we know that we're going away, so that we don't have a pressure. Because like I guess Joe, for you record, like you edit it, so
yeah, that takes a bit more time. And I think we're quite good at being like, yeah, we're very organized, we get it as organized as we can, but also if we're just like, do you know what, I'm not feeling it, let's not do this.
I think there's been times that I've said I'm actually like, I think I was physically ill and I tried everything and I was like, I am sick. I don't think I can record tonight. And you were like, it's fine, don't worry.
It's fine, we don't need it. Like we work it out like that. And like sometimes I feel like I don't sleep. People often ask me if I don't sleep because I do the beer school stuff as well. It's all about
it's going
planning.
on 10:30.
I know it's late tonight. Like this one's going to be a long one. We'd already established that tonight was going to be a long one doing stuff tonight. And it's also like you'll look at from a podcast standpoint, people are like, make sure you batch record, that'll be done. It's difficult to batch record when you're drinking 7.5% beers.
We have to be strategic, don't we? Because like the wine
we've got to be strategic.
We were like, a lot of those come in 750ml sharing bottles. We can't do that on our own, so we had to make sure, and this is part of I think we said it on the episode, part of the reason why we got beers that we couldn't drink for quite a while, that were maybe heading out towards past this BBE, because we knew we had to be together to record the episode. And it's where we live in our schedules, it's hard to make sure we're together on a night that we can drink. Because
you may not have noticed, not everyone knows this, but we don't live near each other.
We're about 2 hours drive.
Yeah, we're about 2 hours away.
Everyone thinks we're like around the corner,
right,
like
we're not.
2 hours away from each other.
Yeah, and so planning all of that, trying to plan if we've got a guest on, trying to plan around their schedule as well, because we want to be as flexible for that as possible. And so like we've got some ideas kicking about that we've been looking at for a long time, and we're waiting for the right beers and we're waiting for the right time to do it. And sometimes we've got beers sat over there that we have to hang on to for a while because the time's just not right. So it's all about planning, it's about organizing.
It'll be weeknights. We don't we have to say on a weeknight because of our day jobs, and you have to factor in dinner as well. Getting home from work, having dinner, everything's sitting up, recording. We can't start on a weeknight until about 7:30. On a weekend we can be a bit more flexible, but then it's like you don't want to spend your whole weekend recording after you've just spent your whole week
and do we want to record an episode about barley wines on Sunday night when we've got to get out for work the next day, or on a weeknight when you got to get out?
Spoiler alert.
We decided not to do that.
We decided against it.
We decided that wasn't a good idea. So
it's planning. Compare back what we want to put in an episode. We have to be like, in an ideal world we'd have this, and this. But where we're in separate locations and it's 440 or 330 mil at a minimum, we just can't sustain that in one episode.
And so we just make it work.
I think it's a lot of understanding on both of our sides, and planning and shared diaries.
I think we just make a good shared diary is key.
Shared diaries.
We make a good team.
We're not on holiday at the same time.
We make sure we're not on. We're not allowed to be on holiday at the same time. If we are, we better be on holiday.
We probably should be on holiday at the same time. That would make it easier.
I feel like that would mean that then it wouldn't get edited, because then like we'd struggle to get it all done beforehand.
Well, it's I'd have to write the episode, and we'd have to record it, then you'd have to edit it, and it would be I think we're very good at balancing
split the
each other
work.
out,
Split the work. Like Tori does the writing, I do the editing. Don't try and do it all yourself.
I would say, to be fair, I think at least more so before because we've had a break for a while, not so much because people don't know that, but behind the scenes, because we're being behind the scenes now, we've had a break for a bit just because holidays and everything's been so crazy. So we had a few things recorded, so it was just like easy to release. But I tend to do the more of like, I might reach out, I might be the person that sends the email to reach out to somebody about stuff. I will do the arranging of that, unless it's someone that Joe has spoken to. Like if Joe's spoken to someone already, like she'll arrange it, but if it's like a reaching out to someone, I might do the reaching out at a random point in time, and then I'll do the writing, but then she does the editing. And I personally feel like the editing is definitely the harder thing on there, for sure.
I'm not going to deny it. It takes a long time, and I recently had to change.
I don't want to hear myself though, so
no, she doesn't want to hear herself, so I can literally make her say whatever, because she never listens to them back. It's a good job I like her and that I'm nice.
Please don't do like a deep fake of me saying something like horrible.
I'm always kind to you, don't you worry.
I trust you. Trust, that's another thing, trust.
Yeah, trust. We trust each other to do the right thing. But yeah, I did, like, there's definitely work into it. I've just changed, I've been experimenting with a new video editing software, so that now it takes longer, but the quality is better and things we can do with it better. So, you know, and as well, I think if you look back at our original episodes and to now, like, I think you can see where we've tweaked things, and you know,
like shout out to Rob. It's like he's
shout out to Rob because
Rob gave
us these microphones, like
let us borrow mics from him.
Yeah, we've got, you know, I've got lights, and when we did the recording in London, like, we've invested in little bits of kit along the way so that we can do things like that. Like, we just built it up over time. And
but I think it's the having fun as well while you record, because it's like, if this wasn't fun,
I don't think we'd do it.
But I think part of the reason why we have such late nights is because we get sidetracked of like having good conversation. We either have good conversations on the recording or after the recording when we're finishing our beers.
That's happened so many
catching
times.
up. It's like a nice catch up as well for us. So that's part of, like, if we're having a shit day, that helps bring that balance there to be like, I've had a shit day, let's have a beer and have a conversation.
We have our well-being moment where we check in and we see what's happened and are we okay.
It's usually at the start, it's like, oh, my day.
yeah and we'll do that and we'll have a little bit of beer and it's a good time. It's a good time. So that's how we do it. I feel like after we've had this little conversation, this might be a good time to chuck in, we might have some messages from some friends of the show that we might want to put in. So let's see if people have sent us some little messages.
Congrats on the 100th episode. Thanks for bringing us on this journey with you, and we're looking forward to have a beer with you at London Craft Beer Festival.
Joey from Beer in the City here. Congratulations on reaching 100 episodes. I am honoured to have been one of those 100 episodes. You are smashing it, doing more for the beer scene than like anyone else, so keep it up.
Happy centenary Women's Brew podcast. Massive congrats to Joanne and Tori for reaching 100 episodes of the amazing A Women's Brew podcast. It's been such a pleasure to feature on the podcast in the past to talk about all the amazing things that breweries in the UK and beyond are doing with Brave Noise Beer to help fight discrimination and harassment in the industry. One thing I will say about A Women's Brew is that they are not scared to ask the difficult questions and to fight the good fight. And we really appreciate that, and I'm absolutely honoured to have been a guest on it. Here's to 100 or even 1,000 more. And remember, beer's for everyone.
Hey, it's Natalie with Beer Feelings. I wanted to take a speedy quick second to wish my favorite girls from across the pond congratulations on hitting 100 episodes. This is a huge milestone. I hope you're drinking a killer beer to celebrate, but I've learned so much from the both of you. My dog is also celebrating. He's making some noise, but learned so much from the both of you about the beer space, about being a proud woman in the beer space, and it has been such an honor to be a guest on your show. So cheers, ladies. Keep on keeping on.
Hey, Tori. Hi, Joanne. Massive congratulations on your 100th episode. Obviously, you couldn't kind of have your 100th episode without your favourite brewery just popping in to say hello, especially me and Oliver, obviously. Just massive congratulations. Keep on doing the awesome work that you're doing. You are brilliant and wonderful women and humans. Just thanks for kind of being here and representing.
Keep it up, and we look forward to watching more of them. Woo, yeah, bye.
Hey, Tori and Joe, congrats on your 100th episode from everyone here at Full Circle. Absolutely love the podcast. And once again, it was awesome to have us on the bar, at your bar, at Arundel and Friends. So yeah, hopefully we get to be a guest in the next 100 episodes. But yeah, well done on the 100 episodes. Here's to 100 more. Cheers.
Hi Tori and Joe, congrats on 100 episodes. Can't believe I've been listening to your podcast for so long. Congrats! Bye!
Congratulations Joe and Tori on reaching such an important and outstanding milestone, 100 episodes of your podcast. Thank you for building a more inclusive environment around beer, educating, entertaining and just being awesome people within the industry. can't wait to see what happens next for you guys.
Wasn't that nice?
It's nice.
We love all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being part of our journey, letting us be part of yours. Like, I think one of the real things that I love about this podcast is the relationships that we've made with other beer people, with brewers, with, you know, other people in the beer industry or beer adjacent, blah blah blah. Like, it's so good to see all these different types of people that do different types of things, but we're all kind of in the same boat in that we love a good beer and we just
on the
share
same
it with everybody else.
Floating rock in the sky.
I love it.
It's just like, I think it's funny that we've just like come from a place where when we started this, we were like, just gonna like, I think we just didn't even know how long we could sustain it for, let alone 100 episodes. Obviously no one's really asked us this, but just to say, like, I don't think we ever thought this far ahead of like sustaining it for this long, first of all, and second of all, I don't feel like we ever thought we'd see us doing guests, because I just think we were like,
I didn't think we were going to do guests.
I think we were so like, we have to be finely tuning what we're doing before we can even think about bringing guests on. And I don't think we ever hit that point where we were like, well, we're finely tuned enough for having guests. It just
someone just asked
happened
us
one day. I think they were just like, do you want to do this? And we were like,
yeah,
okay. I think in parallel there was like two conversations. Someone asked us and then another person had a conversation. We were like, I mean, you can come on the podcast if you, I think I said like, you can come on the podcast if you want, but I don't think you want to. And they were like, yeah, sure. And I was like, Joe, I think I just
she was like, I think we got a guest.
I think we got a guest.
We had to go like upgrade. I had to go pay for Zoom.
and then but that's it. It's like, then we had to like that's part of the upgrade situation, is it's like we had to get the right Zoom account, and then we had to make sure we had, you know, all these other things. And then like we got invited to go on like Homebrewed Feminists, and I was just like, someone wants us as a guest on there, but like, what? Like, it was one thing to have a guest on, to have guests on your podcast. It was another thing to even be asked to be on someone else's podcast. It was like, Homebrewed Feminists, you're on. And then I'm just going to put this up here, by the way, before I continue my thought. This is what I'm drinking. It's really great. Three Hills. Thinking about guests. Boom. I'm drinking a Three Hills.
Three Hills were our first guest. So that's
they
brilliant.
Absolutely were. Yes, they were. And they gave me my first favorite craft beer beanie. So literally great. Andy, amazing. And every time I see him and I say hi to him, like, he's just super nice, super sweet, an amazing person. And the beers are always really good.
The beers are always really good.
But I thought I would just take a moment to say, speaking of guests, drinking this, it's fucking so good. Yes.
Can you say what it is? Because obviously the listeners can't see you.
If you're listening, sorry, I forget sometimes because I can see me. It is a Forbidden Cocktail Strawberry Daiquiri Fruited Sour, 5.5%. And yes, a daiquiri
that
sour.
might be a little spoiler for what's coming up next.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, but also I didn't have it on that particular episode.
It's a precursor to what may be coming soon.
Tasty AF, so I really enjoy it. So anyways, what I was saying was, I don't think we ever hit a point where we thought we were going to have guests, let alone be invited to other people's. And then we were invited to Homebrew Feminism, and I was on Points of Brew, and you were on Beer Feelings.
I was on Beer Feelings. Beer Ladies Pod, and I've been on Pub Trotters as well.
You've been on way more than I have. Like, you are way more sought out.
I've been on Beer Feelings twice.
Yeah,
we had Natalie on
twice.
We've had Natalie on, and we've had so many good people on. I'm not going to name them all because I'll forget someone and someone will get sad. But everyone that's been on has been amazing. If you haven't been on and you want to, drop us an email.
We were going to make this a clip set. Like, we could just make 100 episode a clip episode, but then we were like, no. Let's not do that. No, so we're not going to call everyone out. But what I do miss about the segments that we started with, because I think we started at going from people that were maybe slightly more established, or had been brewing for like quite a while and had a bit more of a backlog, and then we started speaking to people that were newer and maybe didn't have that same back catalogue of beers. But what I missed from those conversations with people that had the back catalogue was the Name That Beer. Because I really like that segment of like reading out someone's description and then having the face of panic. Like Matt from Siren being like,
oh, bless him.
think I know this one as well. And like he would like say one, and then I'd be like, that's not the one. And he was like,
oh yeah, no. If you haven't listened to any of our early interviews, go back through either on YouTube or on wherever you listen to your podcast. Go back to our early interviews, because I think that was a brilliant feature.
I think we can bring it back. We just haven't had.
We never made our leaderboard either.
I have it saved.
Oh, you do?
I do have it saved. We didn't do anything like fancy or fun with it, and we never figured out tiebreakers. Like we never really thought more.
Because we
had
had a few
tiebreakers.
We had a few that were very good at picking out their own beers.
We did. Some people I think studied before. They had to.
Think some people must have heard what was coming before.
But I really I miss those segments, and those are like no one's asked this question, but if I could bring a segment back that like we've done before, it would be Name That Beer. But I think where we have people like Merakai, who we had interviewed before, but they're like a fixture now.
Yeah.
For good reason. Absolutely love them, but they're like a fixture now. I feel like now that time has gone on, we can sit there at, a year from when we first interviewed them, just for example, and be like, cool, now you've got enough beers. We're going to do Name That Beer.
Yeah, we should. Oh, well, we need to have them back on.
Definitely.
To talk about development of the brewery.
I think we need to revisit people a year on from their episodes, or at least like the newer breweries. We need to revisit them a year on from their episode.
Yeah,
and then we'll have enough backstock there to do.
I mean, Emma and Olly won't turn us down because they love being on the podcast.
They might do. They might be like, no, we're too big.
Never. I don't believe. I don't believe it.
They would never. They are so sweet.
They would never do that.
Next question: is there such a thing as a summer stout?
Yes. Next question.
Yes. Full stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe that stouts are for life, so they are all year round. But can I point out it's not available now, which makes me sad. But Mothership, who is another brewery that we have interviewed, the lovely Jane, they made an absolutely beautiful rose and cardamom summer stout, and it was beautiful. So yes, there is such a thing as a summer stout. You've got to try and find it.
Tropical stouts can be quite complimentary as well.
And I mean, if we're going to get all beer styley about it, should we drop some knowledge?
I was going to say, I quite like a porter.
Foreign, because it's slightly light. It can be slightly lighter. But Foreign Extra is a stronger version of like a Guinness type stout. Got a bit more kind of dried fruit flavors to it, and it's higher ABV. Those are widely drunk in much hotter countries.
Again, I know porter, but Eko Black. Like literally
Smoked porter.
We'll
drink it
all year round, but like summer as well, because I feel like it goes really well with certain barbecue foods, summery foods as well. I can't wait for you to try is like a peanut butter stout that I brought back from Greece, and I'll hit you with knowledge when we actually talk about that episode. I don't want to spoil it all now, but there's a reason why I would actually say that's quite a good summer stout as well. It's a stout.
This just means people
finding the right one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you really don't like dark beers, then no. There isn't going to be a summer stout for you.
Well, yeah, if you're like, is there a summer stout? Like, not with like, if you're like, there is
not with that
attitude.
Not with that attitude, there isn't. But if you're open and willing to try things, then I think anything can be for any season.
I think for me, I struggle more to have the fuller, heavier stout.
But I think as well, if we look back at like when we've discussed things, you are quite seasonal in your tastes. Like when it gets to autumn, you're well into your pump. Like you really
just because that's the time of year I can get the pumpkin.
But like you really emote about things in particular seasons. Like that you really get into that. I mean, I love an autumn. I love I love a brown. I love a pumpkin. Like, that's kind of
that's true. Like Marzens and Oktoberfest beers and stuff. For me, I'm like, that is
at that time of year.
I love it.
And at Christmas, I want something a bit boozier, a bit darker. But I'll drink dark beers all year round. Like, I'm not necessarily one of these people that's like, it's summer, let's drink lagers. Like, I'll drink lager whenever.
I see. Yeah, I think I drink everything year round, but I think there is like specific flavors of things. So like I might drink a stout year round, but the different type, like I might not want a tropical, like for me, I might not want a tropical stout in winter. I might want something that's a bit like
gingerbread.
Yeah, or like like I might like want a pastry stout that's like a fuller mouthfeel and the higher ABV and all, I mean, I'll still drink it in summer, but like when I really crave it will probably be more winter. But yeah, no, I probably do have things that I crave more in certain seasons. But I think stouts year round, man.
Stouts are for life.
Everything year round.
I'm not a barley wine. I'm not a barley wine is for life person. I'm a stouts are for life person.
Hilariously, I do have a barley wine is life shirt now.
Do you? Where did you get that from?
Doesn't matter. Don't worry about it.
I'll cut that bit.
I mean, you can say it. It doesn't matter though. Don't worry. It's a siren shirt. It's barley wines are life, and it's like a big barrel on the back of it. There's like the maiden on the front, and then I needed it. I was like, I don't really feel this way, but I don't not feel this way. So.
Okay. So next question, I feel like this needs to be a whole episode, and we need to get Pip on for this. Now I'm wearing my Coven t-shirt, and I'm going to call out.
I got my Coven my 1 out of 2 Coven t-shirts back.
Yay! I'm going to call out who had this because this was all Pip from Coven Brewsters.
I was saying this one was very specific. But I think Matt also said like, yeah, I'd be interested.
I'd be interested in that. I think so. She asked us about beer and sandwich pairings. I don't even want to answer this now because I think this needs to be a whole episode.
I don't think I could answer this now because, to be honest, like
I think we need to do.
We wrote down all the questions, but I never actually stopped to. We didn't actually do a lot of prep work on the questions. We're just kind of answering it on the fly ad hoc. I've just literally anytime a question was asked, I just put it down.
Yeah.
So I don't even think I haven't thought enough about this to be.
I think we're going to plan this. We're going to get Pip on. We're going to talk about this extensively.
Yeah, because you've got to talk to Pip on an episode.
Yeah,
I didn't. I've met her in person.
That's not my fault that you were at a wedding.
I know. Got invited. I just couldn't go.
Yeah, no. So I think we're going to save that. We're going to park that one. So if you are interested in beer and sandwich pairings, make sure you are subscribed or however you want to make sure you're following us so that you can see that episode.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Fun beer holidays where you've met people through beer.
What do we mean by beer holidays? Can we clarify the question?
I don't know, just as fun beer holidays, like where you've met people through beer. So I guess like if you've got, we'll even just say holidays where maybe you went to a brewery or something and you've met people through beer.
I mean, I met Pip in Leeds by going up to visit Leeds. I got to hang out with I went on holiday. I went technically on holiday to Nottingham to do Nottingham Craft Beer Festival, and I went to the Smash the Pointriarchy event at Liquid Light, and without knowing it, ran into like all the beer women. Ran into British Beer Girl, Siobhan, ran into Kimberly, ran into Charlotte, ran into Jager, ran into Maz from Time at the Bar Pod, had them as guests. Can we just say congratulations because they are having a baby?
I was literally just going to be like, I just need to point this out.
Yeah, we'll just point it out. Congratulations to their other friends of the show because they're having a little baby. So that was a fun one because I met all the beer women. It was great.
Yeah, I think probably the most of the people that are at least women in our circle I've met from like a holiday of sorts, whether that be traveling for a beer festival or an event or something somewhere in the UK, not close to home. If I think like wider scale, when it comes to like proper holidays, not people that I'm currently like, if we're talking about like not longer term friendships or like connections or anything, I would say Japan, to be honest. Ended up going to the island of Miyajima, and there's Miyajima Brewery, and it's quite small, and they had such amazing beers, and everyone was so friendly and nice, and the owner came out and started like having a conversation in his best English with us while we tried to speak our best Japanese, which was probably way more terrible than his best English. So that was really cool, and like I said, that's not a long-term friendship by any means, but that was just like we happened to be at his brewery and having
Yeah.
that conversation there, and he shared bar snacks with us, and it was just like that was really cool. And then not so much beer, but we went on a drinks experience from Airbnb in Japan, in Osaka. There was a tour that was like a nightlife tour of doing different bars in the area, and we thought we would just do that for one night, because some of the places we might not have thought to have gone to on our own, or some of them might be more intimidating because we don't speak the language. And ended up having a really good time meeting people through there, not people that I necessarily speak to anymore or anything like that, but it was like a really good experience in my opinion. So yeah, I would say Japan was probably one of the best holidays for meeting people, especially in the capacity of alcohol. So yeah.
Fun. Right, so this may be controversial, you think?
Yeah, I feel like I could give some really controversial answers. I'll probably get in trouble somehow.
I don't know how you get trouble in this. How have your tastes changed?
Well, I'll keep it in a more PC way, maybe. Like I'll try not to say anything controversial to the best of my abilities. To be honest, so since the podcast started, I guess, I think we've spoken about this before. I don't know if it's on or off camera. I've come back around to lagers, and I think we've like discussed how this is kind of like the craft beer journey is. It's like you come in and you're maybe like, oh, like you start liking a lager and you're like, oh no, not lagers, I'll have IPAs now. And then it's like, I'll have a stout, or I'll have this. And then you get to a point where you've tried all this creative stuff and interesting stuff, and then you just come back around and you go, oh, I didn't hate lagers, I just didn't like really shitty ones. Once I started like you have a lager and it's more of a mainstream macro lager, and then you start tasting things that are actually good. And at the time, when I was getting more into craft beer and in this country, and those good beers weren't really lagers.
Yeah.
That wasn't really, I didn't know any lager specific breweries to try. And so I tried everything else and I went, I just don't like lagers. But then it came back around, and now you have like Braybrook and all these amazing, Lost and Grounded, these amazing breweries that make amazing variations of lagers.
Like
and I'm like, I just didn't like shit.
yeah. Utopian, Donzoko, New Barns. And like a lot of the craft breweries are putting out lagers as well that are really good now. Like it really is that, like when I first started drinking craft beer in the UK, those types of breweries just weren't available. Like some of them may have been producing at that time, but you couldn't get hold of them unless you were local to them. Like there's been a real boom in being able to get a hold of a wider range of beers, being able to get hold of beers online. Local places getting a wider range in, like that's really important. And I think through the podcast, more than just tastes changing, I think we've exposed ourselves to different breweries, different beer styles. I've definitely drunk some breweries that I wouldn't have heard of if like you hadn't suggested them, or we hadn't have decided
we hadn't gone looking for a specific thing.
For something, if we hadn't have come across them somewhere and then decided to chat to them. Like we've definitely,
or someone hadn't reached out to us and
said, oh, like, how about these people? Or
I think I said it with like Wilderness, for example, because they are like quite a small brewery in Wales and they don't really like do a lot of advertising or anything like that. I hadn't really heard of them until the Brave Noise thing, and then I was like, well, I want to support them because you don't have a lot, in my opinion, this is what's going to get me cancelled, you don't have a lot of amazing breweries that you know about in Wales. And so I was like, oh, that's really interesting that there's this brewery in Wales that's making really interesting stuff. I want to try them. And I was like, cool, like done, tried. And they ended up being really amazing. And they are somebody that, like, without Brave Noise, without us looking to go down that Brave Noise route,
I don't know if we'd have stumbled across them.
I don't know if I would have stumbled across them naturally. I might have, because I would say I listened for a while. I listened to a lot of other, like, I listened to some other craft beer podcasts. But back to the work-life balance thing, I think the more we started getting doing more ourselves in the space, whether that be events or episodes or stuff like that, it just became like so difficult to also listen to those podcasts because it was just like all the time.
Yeah,
which is fine. I like being submerged by craft beer, but it was almost to a point that I was like, I just have to cut. Like it wasn't as fun to listen to those podcast episodes as soon as we started going out and doing more things, because it was just too much. So yeah, I think maybe if I was still listening to some episodes of like other podcasts, I'd have been like, oh yeah, I heard of this beer or something like that. But I'm more sparing with what I listen to now.
Yeah.
So maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't have.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I also think one thing that's changed for me is I liked saisons and vice beers and like all that kind of stuff, but I would say I probably was not as happy drinking barley wines and those like things like that. I was like, no, like don't want that. Some of the boozier stuff, not that I don't like the boozier stuff, but like for me I was just like, I'll just have a spirit if I want that. And I think my taste has sort of changed when now I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll have a barley wine now.
Yeah, I'll try a barley wine.
And I'm more actively buying a barley wine.
Yeah, definitely. I think so.
What styles have you found yourself purchasing since starting the podcast? I think
that's the same.
That is the same, isn't it?
I think mine is not just the podcast. And I suppose my self learning about beer, I suppose part of that's the podcast, part of that's everything else. But like wanting to take the certified Cicerone exam and build that up and build my knowledge up through that. I'm buying all the beer styles. I was looking through the BJCP styles. I've been trying to get one of everything. Got to catch them all so I can see what they're like. So I've bought a lot of beer styles. Ask me about all the beer styles because I've bought almost one of everything at this point.
Yeah, I think for me it's been more that like similar to what you said in the sense of like I'm it's like gotta catch them all in the sense of like I see things now because I've heard about breweries I might not have heard of, and it's not so much styles but breweries that I'm like, that sounds amazing, like I need to try that. I think it's not so much styles, it is I try to find things that are interesting and unique. So like the other day I saw this beer, I took a photo actually because I was going to send it to you to be like, I forgot to tell you I got this beer. It was Unity Brew Co. Or Unity Brewing, raspberry, basil, and spelt sour.
Ooh!
And I bought that because I was just like, I bought it. Yeah, so I was like, that just sounds incredibly interesting.
I don't think basil is in beer enough. I love basil in beer. People call me crazy. I don't care. I love a bit of basil in beer.
I just think like I don't know if I love it or not.
And spelt is isn't something that you necessarily always see in beer, so that's an interesting flavor as well.
That's it. It's like now I'm more attuned to I see something interesting and I'm like, need to have it. Like Stagger in the Goods Bloody Mary sour. I don't even like Bloody Marys, but I was like, need to have that.
You do have a tendency to buy beers you're like, I might not like that, but I'm going to buy it anyway.
But like that's the thing is I'm not. But then I also don't sit there and go, I didn't enjoy it, so it's bad. Right. Like I'm just like
1 out of 5.
I want to know that I did. Like that's so interesting. I need to try it. So I think it's less about the styles and more about how interesting it is. But I think also part of it is finding these styles or being more open to buying these styles. Like I'm buying more barley wines and stuff like that because of the podcast. Because through the podcast, it has made me dive deeper into the community of beer and has connected me to more people than I would have been connected to had we not done the podcast. And it's opened my eyes up to trying certain breweries or certain styles or certain things, giving certain styles a second chance, like barley wines that I might not have done if I wasn't. It's not a direct it's not a direct podcast thing, but it's like a offshoot of the podcast.
And I think that's a top tip as well. Like, if you don't like a beer style, if you think you don't like a beer style, try it from a different brewery. Try it like made in a different way.
Revisit it as well, because your taste is going to change.
Because your taste.
So in a year's time, you might be like, I didn't like that. And it's the same thing of like, we can all say
I'm still
about...
not a massive fan of Kolsch. I'm just putting that out there. But I have found Kolsches that I don't mind.
But there's also like if you think about it in the most simplest terms, like a lot of us got into beer in the UK scene through Brewdog, and maybe that's not our taste anymore for numerous reasons. But when it comes to the taste specifically, we might be like, actually, I've grown and I've changed since then. And you expand more and you go bigger and more flavorful, or like all these different kind of things, right? In a year's time, you might be like, I don't like this now. And then in a year's time, like the lager example, when you're used to having macro lager and you have things that are more flavorful, you just think, oh, I don't like lager. But actually, once your taste changed and it's expanded, you go back to like something that's a high quality of the same style. And you're like, oh, actually, I do like that. I think your taste can change it does change and evolve. Yeah. But especially the more you are exposed to like just changing your taste overall, you'll be like, oh, more things. Actually, let's go back and revisit that.
Yeah, definitely. All right, pick one hot take that you have.
It doesn't make it good just because it's high ABV.
100%.
Just like just because it tastes like a spirit doesn't mean it's great, and just because it's a lower ABV, even if it has all the flavor, doesn't make it bad.
Yeah, 100%.
That's my hot take.
Yeah, and
I'm keeping a PC hot take.
So my hot take is, just because everyone says it's good doesn't mean it is.
You can still drain for it.
You can still drain for it. Just because everyone has said, oh, this is the best thing ever. If you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to like it. You like the beers that you like. Like don't
let anyone pressure you into
don't let anybody pressure you
like that, and you're weird if you don't.
You don't have to like IPAs. There, I said it. You don't have to like IPAs.
You're wrong, but
no,
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
You're not. Don't be putting that on people.
I just knew you'd react to that.
Alienating people. Like I'm a dark beer, I'm a fruit beer, I'm a sour beer, I'm an interesting beer person. There are IPAs and paler beers that I enjoy, but if you gave me a choice of things, I'd probably lean towards the darker beers generally.
Even in an IPA range, like you can like IPAs,
right?
But like, I like IPAs,
ones.
But there might be certain ones that I'm like, someone's telling me is like the most amazing one ever, and I have it. I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
And that doesn't make you any less of a person that enjoys beer.
You don't need your beer judge certification.
You don't need
Cicerone or
we're getting into
anything
more hot
like
takes
that.
than just one. You don't have to be qualified to be able to taste beer and enjoy it and say what you think about it, but you do need to think about what you're putting out there when you say it. Like say what you like.
Everyone's opinion is valid.
Yeah.
How you choose to voice it is maybe.
Yeah. And
but don't feel that your opinion isn't valid just because you're like, I didn't agree with the majority.
Yeah, no, because everybody tastes things differently. You're an expert on what you taste. But also, don't let anybody tell you that you have to like this brewery or you have to like this kind of beer, or American beers are the best or European beers are the best, blah blah blah. There's so much beer out there. I believe there's literally a beer for everyone. You just got to find the right one. And if you don't like what everybody else says, try something different. You'll find it. Message us because we'll be able to help you find something, guaranteed.
Honestly, and I think that's the thing, is sometimes it is the legwork of having to try to find what works for you. And I think a lot of people get into it and they go, here's what I associate beer as, so I don't like that. And they might try one thing and go, well, that's very different to what I associated beer as, but I also hated it, so I'm done. And it does take trying on quite a few different styles, so to speak, to find the one that's maybe the right style, the right flavor, or the right brewery for you. And I think it can be a challenge. So it is intimidating. It can be a challenge. It's just if you want to be open to trying to find something that's right, it's just about engaging with the right people who aren't going to judge you if you're like, yeah, I don't like that, I don't like that Pliny the Elder or something like that. I mean, if you're surrounded by people that will judge you for not liking it, that's not going to help you, because you're just going to go, it's not worth the judgment.
We're not about any gatekeeping here at A Woman's Brew.
No. What are your top favorite breweries of the minute?
This is too difficult. This is
Pick
too
like
difficult.
2 or 3.
I mean, breweries I'll always buy from. I'll always buy from Merakai. I'll always buy from Duration. I'll always buy from Eko. I'll always buy from Heist. And I've probably missed out so many people that I love.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that as well.
Yeah.
In terms of like, I feel like Miracle and Echo, and like that's given.
That's not even a question, is it?
That's
It's not even
no,
a
I feel like those
question.
aren't a question. If we're talking about maybe breweries that are crushing it outside of the obvious ones for us, like because I think there's some places that people obviously expect us to go, like Miracle and Echo and stuff, and for good reason. And like Olly is one of the most Olly at Miracle, one of the most talented brewers I have ever met. I just like so impressed. And then it's like, oh my god, Echo Black. I talk about it all the time. I fucking love Echo Black. Like, oh my god, amazing. But like, aside from the ones that we always talk about, because people are probably like, yeah, we get it, you like them, and your friends and all that. Like, okay. My top favorites probably Holy Goat, without a doubt.
Okay.
What they were doing is so interesting.
Yeah.
Very creative, very, I would say, unique in a lot of how they choose to combine flavors and styles. So like the flavor profiles they're going for together, and then the style they choose to utilize it on as well. Sometimes just like really like a strawberry old brune, like that is
and it was
just like so interesting.
Can I jump in there? Oh, Tartarus. I'll jump in and put Epockel in there because
Epockel really good.
They're really good. They're quite difficult still to get hold of. Excellent beers.
Sinister also, to be fair, like the Scottish breweries are killing it. Like Sinister, if you've never had Sinister, Simple Things Fermentation, like all those that they're not as accessible across the whole of the UK. But yeah, I would say definitely like Holy Goat. I never hesitate. Like if there's something that I want from them, I am never like, oh, what else can I put in this basket? If anything, I'm like, shit, I have to cut things out, or things are out of stock. So that's made a decision for me. But always interesting. The flavor profile, like so interesting. The artwork is amazing. And then similar with the artwork, Tartarus, and they're they crush it on flavors as well and styles and really good stuff. So that's what I would say, apart from the two or the many that people already know that we would buy from again. Anybody else that hasn't been on the podcast that you'd be like, because I'm just picking who hasn't been on the podcast.
I mean, I'm gonna say Duration again because I absolutely love Duration. Like I heard about them and that they were trying stuff, and then I went on a hunt for their purple carrot beer, and I've been buying beer from them ever since because they're absolutely just everything they make is delicious. They make great hazies and West Coast for people that enjoy that, but they also make like great their Fermata range that's in Fooders and in their Coolship is amazing. They make a beautiful wit. They do beautiful saisons. In fact, some of their beers they call IPAs, but actually they're Belgians or saisons or grisettes, and they're faking you out because they think you won't buy it if they don't call it something. And I got one of our mutual friends to have. I was like, buy that. I know it says it's an IPA, but actually you'll like it because I know sneakily that it's actually done with Belgian yeast. She loved it, and she wouldn't have bought it if I hadn't said actually you will enjoy it because she doesn't normally buy IPAs. She absolutely loved it. So their ranges are just beautiful, and they're all about sustainability and local produce and all of that lovely stuff. So big advocate for Duration beers.
I mean, like you said as well, like you said, Heist and
Heist,
Full Circle, and like I feel like I was just trying to think of all
Siren.
I was just trying to think of emperors, like who doesn't
emperors.
We're literally not gonna name like every single one, but it is that thing of like if we were to pick the ones that are outside of the people we've spoken to or have some level of relationship with, like I mean, open invitation. Like, I would absolutely love to have like Duration or Holy Goat or Tartarus.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get Tartarus on.
Yeah.
They're so busy, so it's like
fair.
Everyone's really busy right now. It is like literally coming to like the height of festival season right now. So hopefully we can get some of these amazing breweries on, but it's like literally, if Holy Goat messaged, they'll never hear this, but if Holy Goat messaged tomorrow and was like, we want to speak to you guys, I'd be like, and you're done. I don't care if it's inconvenient for me. Like, I will do it, and I will happily put that beer order and order all the beer. Like,
we might run into them at a festival. You never know.
They're just so good. Like, I just feel like they are consistently crushing it.
Yeah,
and I feel like it would be a miss to not just call out how much they're crushing it.
Oh, Wild Beer Co. We should have Wild Beer Co. on.
They are great.
I love Wild Beer Co. as well.
When we did the wine episode and we had their red wine.
Winey Beast is so good.
Literally was probably my favorite out of all the. And
I think
I don't know, that or Dolphin. That was like those two were like my favorites of the wine episode.
Whenever anybody asks me if I have to pick one beer of all time, it's Millionaire.
I don't think I think I've had it once, like ages ago.
Oh my god, that's a shocker. Millionaire shortbread stout is like literally one of my faves.
So I'm gonna have to admit something. So I have the Millionaire, and I have the Trillionaire.
You got Trillionaire,
but I haven't actually opened them yet. They've been sat in the fridge.
I think Trillionaire's out of date, girl.
It is definitely. It is definitely, because the whole thing was I was like, I'm going to hold on to them, I'm going to do something with them. And then it never happened. And now I'm like, and it was never, it's that thing of it's never the right moment to have all of these and all that. So I'm like, I don't know. I feel like another one we didn't even name, Unbarred, but again, that falls under the like rank of like their flavors are always on point, and they're really interesting. Like the stuff that the flavors they
like
choose
apologies to anyone we haven't said, because we love you all. We're just, it's late at night and we may be missing people out that we absolutely love. We love you all.
You got the next one. We've only got two questions.
Well, this is a good one. Greatest achievements, or what are we most proud of to date? I mean, so many things. Getting our faces on a can of Brave Noise beer. Being part of International Women's Collaboration Brew Day.
God, I think there's so many great things. There's those, getting names and faces on cans.
Doing our first beer collaboration.
Literally getting
Heist.
Invited to do a collaboration. Like, please, anytime you want to invite us.
If you want us to come brew with you, we're really hard workers. We'll come
I work really hard. I don't honestly,
really hard.
You don't even have to put my face or name on a beer.
No,
like, I will just if you're just like, I need some help today, I'd be like, yes, but as long as it's like not a day I have to take off work, I'll do it. I love it.
Being commissioned to do a podcast for Women on Tap Festival.
Yes, I was gonna say, I've got the International Women's Collaboration Brew Day Women on Tap beer. Actually, I think they did it with Track. I've got that.
Okay.
So I'm excited to try that. But yeah, that was like amazing, and I think like getting asked to curate a bar at Arundel.
Yes,
like, getting asked to be like, you're gonna have a section of bar and you can just pick what you want on it and just serve the beer
and having the opportunity to really put Full Circle and Eko and Heist in front of those people, because and
the styles, because it's not even just the brews, it's like the styles that we chose. I was really proud of.
We surprised and delighted a lot of people with those beers. I think they
all went down. I think we tapped out on 2 out of 3.
Yeah, definitely.
And we almost tapped out of the 3rd as well. So
it was good. And just the people that we've met along the way.
Yeah, I think it's just like forming those relationships, really. It's really hard because I don't think I could pick just one great moment. It's just been really good. The fact that people want to talk to us or still want to listen to us, I'm like, that's a great achievement.
You still can't believe it. She can't.
People at work have been like, so what is your podcast then? And I'm like, is a women's brew. You probably don't want to listen to it. It's fine.
Oh my god, stop saying that. You're really bad at promoting us.
I am really like a garbage person when it comes to running, because I don't like attention. So I'm like, oh, it's okay. I'm probably going to disappoint you anyway. So craziest podcast ideas. I guess most interesting.
US road trip. Let's go.
I feel like there's some that are more realistic, that are like lofty, that we could do, but like I'm not going to name them because we could end up doing them. But there's been some that have required a lot of beers, which would be quite a lot for us to try to manage, as we were saying earlier in one episode. I'm thinking of the thing that I think you'll probably know what I'm talking about, and it requires multiple episodes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The beer bracket.
Oh yeah, so we keep having this idea for a beer bracket where
we don't say all the ideas because someone else might take it.
Someone's not going to take it. Anyway, that's a lot of beers, and it's like it's a lot of
we'll
logistics.
say it, but if you take this idea, we're gonna know.
We're gonna let you know. Yeah, we're gonna know you take it.
If it comes out after us, we're gonna be like, obviously you've taken the idea. But we were thinking about doing like supermarket bracket.
Yeah,
not because we love supermarket, not because we necessarily buy from supermarkets, so that we promote that idea, but just the fact that it's like the idea that we're like, supermarkets have come so far, and it's like, who actually has the best of certain things. But we've been like fleshing out the
I just say that I went and looked. I've been in the Sainsbury's for a while, and I went and looked in the Sainsbury's the other day, and I was like, oh.
It is a very particular, it's like one particular brewery is like
there's
taken over. It's like
there's two particular breweries, and I was like, oh
okay.
I'm gonna go look at the Belgian beers. Bye.
Yeah, but then they also have like bottles of like Ninkasi
right,
rosé and shit. You're like,
okay, I'll take one of those then, I guess.
Yeah, we thought like, I think that was like the most lofty idea, was trying to do that, and
the logistics for that was
we didn't totally ditch it. It's just it's not happened yet because it's really
it's on the to record sheet.
Yeah, and it's just like when we can figure out, when we flesh it out more, and we maybe we have to be in person for that, because I think it's too difficult, and we've got to find a way to make it a bit more interactive. That's pretty US road trip would be amazing.
US road trip, European road trip.
I think probably
Belgium.
like out of the UK trip would be cool.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. That's again logistics.
Agree. I guess final question. Anything that you kind of want to see happen going forward in the next 100 episodes and many more?
In our next 100 episodes, I want us to interview more amazing people and introduce you, dear listeners, to even more amazing beer experiences, breweries, beers, beer styles. We want to find you the beers that you want to drink. We want to go interesting places. And yeah, we want to dominate the world.
World domination.
World domination. That's my plan.
Beer domination. I think for me, like obviously love a bit of world domination. Hobbs. I think in addition to like everything Joe said, I think I'd love to be more interactive. Like I'd love to find a way to evolve to be more interactive, like not all the time, but I've always like loved the idea of Twitch streaming or like something, because I just
can't work out how to do it though.
It's really fucking hard, first of all. But I would love the idea of being like, let's find a way I struggle with Instagram Live just because it's like you have to be on your phone and it's really hard to like read the conversations and type back. And some people don't, some people want to have text conversations and stuff. So I'd love like Twitch really accommodates that. So I think it would just be cool having ways to have more one-on-one sort of engagement in that sense. But
let us know if you want to do a live stream.
We're like we've never done, like we haven't really done any, like people like, you should do a Patreon. I'm like, what are we gonna offer on Patreon? Like what do people want? So that's not really one of my ambitions, because I'm like, what do people want from us on Patreon?
I know.
Live stream was one of my ambitions, like Twitch or something. Ooh. But I just don't know if people would want that or what they'd want.
T-shirts. Merch.
Like, do you just want us to have random shit talk sessions? Not shit talk sessions, but just like having a beer and chatting shit live and chatting to you guys? Or are you like, please absolutely do not do that?
Let us know what you want. We've got 100 episodes to go.
Yeah.
Let us know what else you want. A Women's Brew Podcast at gmail.com.
Well, I guess we've come to an end now.
Yeah.
A natural end.
Yeah.
That was a really good time. Happy 100 episodes, Joe.
100 episodes. Can you believe? I still can't believe we got here. And I can't
I
believe
love the
you've
fact that we
listened.
were like,
Right.
we are just going to keep doing this even if no one listens. And surprisingly, people keep listening. It's pretty great.
You keep talking to us about it. We love you all. Let us know what you want to hear from us, because we are open to whatever you'd like to hear from us.
Topics, breweries, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you already do let us know and
Yeah.
keep letting us know, because we really want to do that.
Beer
And again,
sandwich pairings.
open invitation. Open invitation to anybody that's brewed a Brave Noise beer, wants to brew a Brave Noise beer, has
got some in
anything
my
to
fridge
do
now.
with a Brave Noise beer. Like, please talk to us, because we want to do that. So
yeah, otherwise I'm just going to drink what I've got in my fridge. And I won't get to talk to you about it while I drink it.
That'll make us very sad.
Yes. Tori, if people want to suggest episodes to you, where can they find you?
Yeah, if you want to suggest episodes to me, or you want to see me figure out how to Twitch stream, if it's worth the effort of figuring out
Instagram
how to
live,
stream.
YouTube live, what do you want to see?
Oh god, that's I think my gamer instincts say Twitch, so I'm like, that's what I could figure out how to do. Yeah, if you want any of that, or you've got suggestions, you can reach out to me on Instagram at adventures_in_optimism, or on adventuresinoptimism@gmail.com. And then you can also email the podcast, where I will probably pick that up. Maybe Joe, we'll see. It's a women's brew podcast@gmail.com. And Joe, if people want to talk to you about podcast ideas, where can they speak to you?
You can find me at my beer school, which is Love Beer Learning, and I am on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Pinterest. I run a website, like I'm saying I today. I have a website, which is lovebeerlearning.co.uk, and you can email me directly at lovebeerlearning@gmail.com. And don't forget, the podcast is A Woman's Brew pretty much everywhere. Come find us. Right, so to 100 episodes. Super excited.
So excited.
Cheers.